This is Joshua Hart here for Seconds Out. Delighted today to be joined by Aloys Junior. Aloys, first of all, how are we doing today?
I'm doing amazing.
We'll get straight into things. Obviously, this weekend you step up the levels again. Just first of all, how excited to be back out again?
I'm incredibly excited. I'm very thankful and I'm very happy that I actually got a fight off the back. Like, I didn't wait for months on end. So, yeah, I'm incredibly thankful.
So we know that you have a very good knockout record. Are you hoping to secure another knockout this weekend, or would you like to get some rounds under your belt?
You don't get paid for overtime.
I like that answer. Obviously, we know that you work with Ben Davison and Lee Wylie, and they've been getting a lot of recognition lately due to all the work that they've been doing with Lee Wood, Anthony Joshua, etc. What makes them stand out as coaches? What makes them special?
Their love for the sport, their extensive knowledge. They're still students to this day, and some other boxing coaches are not still students. It just varies on the individual, and the individuals that I'm with, they love the sport, and love is what pushes everything forward.
In what ways do you benefit from having the likes of former world champions Anthony Joshua and Lee Wood around you?
Say that again, I get here.
In what ways do you benefit from having the likes of Lee Wood and Anthony Joshua around you, two former world champions? How do they help you benefit?
Advice, motivation, those things. They give me all of that. They give me motivation to be in their shoes. They give me advice so I can step up. So it's an honour to have them around me.
So we'll just stick with Anthony Joshua. Have you had any chance to share some rounds with Anthony Joshua? He's heavyweight, your cruiserweight, very nearby. Have you had a chance to share some rounds with him?
Sadly not. I've only done some technical work, but he's a massive guy. Massive guy.
How would you feel about getting an opportunity to share some rounds? And there'd be some very, very crucial rounds for yourself for development, wouldn't they?
Absolutely, but when Ben tells me, my coach is the coach, you know. When he tells me to do something, I do it.
Sticking on Anthony Joshua, he recently faced Francis Ngannou out in Saudi Arabia and delivered a brutal second round knockout. What did you make of AJ's performance that night?
Crisp and perfect.
Yeah. And obviously, Ben has said in many interviews, not even before he started training AJ, there's interviews out there of him saying he believes he can help AJ beat Usyk. How do you feel a third fight would play out, especially you've seen AJ day in, day out? How would a third fight play out between them?
I believe Joshua would win it, based off the strategy, based off the preparation. I believe he'll win it. His IQ has grown significantly, so it makes sense.
Do you feel, obviously, there was all this talk about the old AJ. Do you feel Ben's not actually brought the old AJ back, but he's mixed that old AJ with a more calculated mind? Because we know how good Ben is at calculating and creating a game plan with Lee Wylie. Do you feel they've kind of merged the two and made the ultimate Anthony Joshua?
Yeah, it's a new Anthony Joshua. It's not old Anthony Joshua. It's a new, more calculated, more efficient, more smarter. So yeah.
I just want to quickly grab your thoughts on some fighters around your weight division. We'll start off with a man that I know you've had a little bit of back and forth with previously, Mr. Tommy Fletcher. He's out on May 11th at York Hall on the Denzel Bentley card. How highly interested you in a fight with Tommy Fletcher?
Tommy Fletcher can get it whenever he wants it. Call my phone.
Just whenever.
Call my phone.
So you don't want to put a time on it, because sometimes you'll see people put timelines on fights. You believe it's just a fight that, when it makes sense, we'll get it on.
Exactly. When it makes sense, we get it on. I'm definitely experienced enough to. Even that is a joke. I'm definitely more advanced in my career and plus skill set than Tommy Fletcher.
Something I just want to quickly turn back to yourself, something just popped into my head now. I remember the story of you obviously making your debut on about 24 hours notice. What was the whole reason behind that? Why did you decide to take that fight when you could have gave yourself time? But sometimes there's an opportunity like the one you had. What made you want to take that fight?
Eagerness and how hungry I was. Like, no one steps in the ring with a monster on 24 hours notice. Like, it really shows my character. And I really wanted to fight. I really wanted to be a professional, and I showed that on that night. Despite that I lost by 1 point, and with like 6 weeks of work, I could have beat him. But it's okay. For now, if I see him again or when I see him again, listen, it's a different story.
Obviously, while it didn't go your way that night, do you feel in the long run that's benefited you massively? Because you must have learned a lot that night.
A massive amount, because it's an experience. You know, you learn so much from experiences, and the first time getting hit with 10 ounces was by a monster. It's just, I understand how to plan.
And just to grab your thoughts quickly on some fights going on around your division, we see Chev Clark take on Ellis Sorrow for the vacant British title following Isaac Chamberlain's vacation. How do you see that fight playing out?
I see Chevron Clark winning. Possibly by stoppage.
Okay. Can I continue afterwards? And just very quickly, Aloys, just to quickly ask a couple more questions. So, with Isaac Chamberlain vacating his British title, it seemed he was going to be challenging for the European, but Cizlyak has vacated that title supposedly, so it seems he'll be facing Vidal Wylie next. How do you see that fight going?
To me, honestly, I feel like it's a 50-50 fight. I don't know who would win. It just depends who comes with the better strategy for the night.
Do you feel it's a fight that, obviously it's a massive step up for Vidal with the stage he's at, going from English level to fringe European level with Isaac Chamberlain, but do you feel it's a fight that Vidal can possibly get the job done in?
Possibly, yeah. I believe he has great skill. He has very good skill. So I feel like he could do it, but you never know. Isaac is relentless and he doesn't quit. So yeah, you just got to see on the night.
And sticking with domestic fighters, but at the world level, we're supposedly seeing a rematch soon between Chris Billam-Smith and Richard Riakporhe, reported for June. Obviously, it's a fight that we've seen before, but a lot of time has passed since then. How do you feel that fight goes?
That's a very good question. I couldn't answer that. I would probably bank with, I would say, Chris Billam-Smith. Strong engine, strong physically. And I feel like he's adapted so much more from his last fight.
And do you feel, obviously we hear the phrase hard work beats talent a lot, but he is a fighter. When you listen to Shane McGuigan talk about him, you'll listen to him say, you know, Chris came in and wasn't very talented, but he just worked relentlessly, kept pushing himself, and now he's a world champion. Do you feel you agree with that statement?
I agree.
And then very lastly, I just want to grab your thoughts quickly on the 5v5 that was announced on Monday. Obviously, I know you're a Queensbury fighter, but how do you feel this ranks amongst some of the greatest cards of all time?
It's a very, very, very good card. Frank versus Eddie, and fingers crossed, Frank wins. But it's a very good show.
And then Fury versus Usyk, obviously it's a fight we were supposed to see in February, but a fight's been so highly talked about for such a long time. As a boxing fan, as a student of the sport, I'm sure you're just excited as everyone else is for it. If I was to ask you to pick a winner, how do you see it going? Who would you say and why?
I'm not too sure. I wouldn't be shocked if Usyk pulls it off because he's very agile. You know, especially when you're big, when you're fighting a big man. Speed kills, and he's able to come in and come out, come in and coming out. So I'll probably put my money up on Usyk.
And when we look at the cut, obviously, that Fury sustained, there was a lot of doubts as to whether the 3-month gap between the fights would be enough. Do you feel Usyk's going to be targeting that cut, or do you feel he's more advanced than that and will just wait for the right opening?
Possibly. This game is based off so many possibilities. He could punch it and it splits open. We just don't know until the fight is occurring.
Aloys, finally, just a message to all the people on Saturday night. Like they said on the stage, you've got a nice TV slot, so what can the fans expect from Aloys Junior come Saturday night?
An explosive, powerful night.
Aloys, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it massively. Thank you.